We extend a heartfelt greeting to all our esteemed guests joining from various corners of the globe for yet another exciting seminar. It's a great pleasure to welcome you all to the 12th seminar in the third edition of the seminar series on the digital future for business and society, emerging perspective on the metaverse. I, Dr. Vinod Kumar from Symbiosis Institute of Business Management, Pune, and Dr. Annabel Gutierrez from University of London are truly honored and privileged to lead this exciting event as moderators. This seminar series is hosted jointly by Professor Yogesh Kumar Dwivedi, who is Professor of Digital Marketing and Innovations and Founding Director of the Digital Future for Sustainable Business and Society Research Group at School of Management, Swansea University, Wales, UK. Next, we have Dr. Laurie Hughes. He is Senior Lecturer within Strategic Operations Group and founding member of the Digital Futures for Sustainable Business and Society Research Group at School of Management, Swansea University, Wales, UK. And we also have Professor Ramakrishnan Raman. He is currently Director, Symbiosis Institute of Business Management, Pune, Dean, Faculty of Management, Symbiosis International Deemed University, Director, Strategy and Development, Symbiosis. Our entire seminar series is jointly supported by Digital Marketing and Analytics SIG Academy of Marketing, Grenoble IAE Graduate School of Management, a Grenoble INP School of the University of Grenoble Alpes, the e-business and e-government SIG British Academy of Management, the UK Academy for Information Systems UKAIS. Now, I'd like to share very briefly about the seminar series. Emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence, blockchain, Internet of Things, and the Metaverse undoubtedly offer transformative potential for the augmentation and potential replacement of human performed tasks and activities within a wide range of industrial, intellectual, and social applications. The impact and widespread adoption of these technologies is likely to be transformational within sectors ranging from agriculture, finance, healthcare, manufacturing, retail, supply chain, logistics, and utilities. The seminar series on the digital future for business and society, emerging perspective on the metaverse, will present various perspectives from a number of leading expert speakers to highlight the opportunities and challenges posed by the rapid emergence of the metaverse. The seminar series will not only offer a timely and thought provoking insight into the metaverse, but also its impact on the future of business, management, and societal factors impacted by growth, direction, and widespread adoption of this new immersive technology. Today, we are incredibly fortunate to have the esteemed presence of two eminent researchers, Dr. Ariana Poliviu and Professor Ilyas Opepas, who will grace the event with their insights on the topic chasing metaverses, reflecting on existing literature to understand the business value of metaverses. To tell you something about our speakers, Dr. Ariana Poliviu is Assistant Professor of Information Management at School of Business of University of Nicosia, Cyprus. She is also a research fellow at Center of Entrepreneurship at University of Cyprus and an adjunct professor at IE Business School, Madrid. Her work focuses on digital business strategy, digital transformation, technology policy, future of work, digital entrepreneurship, and technology adoption. Her work had been published in numerous peer reviewed journals and conference proceedings in the field of information systems and system sciences. She has received several awards and scholarship for her research, including a Mary Slodowska Curie Fellowship. She has attracted funding and participated in 20 plus research projects funded by European Union. She is also serving as an evaluator for research proposals submitted under H2020 Horizon Scope frameworks of the European Union. She has served as conference chair, member of program committees, track chair, and guest editor in several international academic conferences and journals in the area of information system and entrepreneurship. Dr. Polyview also leads Cyprus National Participation in Global Entrepreneurship Monitor GEM and a member of National Committee of Cyprus Digital Championship. Very warm welcome, ma'am. Next, we have Professor Ilyas O. Papas, is a professor of information systems at Department of Information Systems, University of Agder, Norway. His research and teaching activities include data science, digital transformation, human-centered AI, and user experience in different contexts, as well as digital marketing, e-services, and information technology adoption. He has led several European Union funding projects and national funded projects, among others. Focus of these projects has been on human-centered AI, data analytics, and innovation through collaboration platforms. He has published over 100 articles in peer-reviewed journals and conferences, including European Journal of Information Systems, Journal of Business Research, European Journal of Marketing, and many other reputed journals. Professor Papas has been a guest editor for various journals and serves as an associate editor for several information system journals. He has been track chair on AI as well as big data analytics at the European Conference on Information Systems and the Americas Conference on Information System, among others. He is also recipient of ERCIM and Mary Slodowska Curie Fellowships. So without any further ado, I kindly request both of you to take over and address our esteemed audience today. Very warm welcome once again. Over to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the invitation to be here, and it's great. It's great to be here in this series of seminars. Thank you for the very kind introduction. Much appreciated. A lot more details than I would have shared myself. So thank you for that. So I am Elias, and since I've been young, I've always been fascinated by user experience. So I think that drives all my research activities. And currently, I am the head of the research group here at the University of Agder on human-centered AI. And I think it was a natural evolution into the activities that I do that directly links with the work on metaverse and metaverses and virtual worlds, and that we have been doing the past couple of years. And I think since we wrote that first contribution for IGIM, several things happened. Since we agreed, I think, to these seminars, several things, good things have happened. So it's a pleasure for me to be here and to talk about two of those things. One is a literature review that gave us a bit of perspective on what has happened and what do we need to do to move forward. And the second is a project, a European project that will give us enough funding to be able to train 17 PhD students across Europe on metaverses and on both the business and the social value. And I think as information systems researchers, it is critical to be able to target both the business and the social value of the phenomena that we study. So the virtual worlds, the MMOs, the virtual reality that has evolved over the years, the augmented reality, all the predecessors of the metaverse are these are things that I think we think of when someone mentions the metaverse. I'm not sure if we did a small survey among the participants if we would all agree on one single definition. I think this is still evolving, and it is based on the things that we already know very well, that work very well. But what is next? How do we get there? And what do we need to get there? So this is our ideas on how we can get there based on what the predecessors had been. And why do we need to get there? We have now the technologies are more mature, and we have extended reality. We have new advances in human-computer interaction, in AI, blockchain, computer vision, and so on. So they are driving the wider use of the metaverse, and they operate in real time in the digital public spaces for interaction. So the way we see the metaverse is like a digital public space for interaction. So this is similar to the ancient Greek agoras. Agora is a Greek term, a public space for the citizens to interact at different levels for different reasons and with different purposes. This was happening in real life. Now we foresee that in the digital world. And this is what we will try to do with our project. and I will get to that on the second part of my presentation. So why now? Well, the obvious things is because, well, we have a maturity of technologies, we have a increased use of virtual tools, and then also we have the big companies investing a lot into how the next generation of internet will look like. Many of us may think of Meta when we think of the metaverse, since they tried sort of to revive the term that had been around before that. But for us, I think the metaverse is so many more things and so many different possibilities that open up, and so many different possibilities because we get new capabilities. We are looking at new business models, new business strategies, new operations that need to be developed, that need to be adjusted so we can tackle existing potentially new societal changes that will emerge as we go in and we interact into the virtual world. New organizational structures are created, new policies, and so on. So what we did last year, we looked into the past 10 years on metaverse and related areas, virtual reality, augmented reality, and virtual worlds. And there was a spike about 10 years ago. And then, as you well know, especially through the series of these seminars, then it wasn't so popular anymore until 2021, where it started getting again increased interest. So in the past, the virtual worlds and the AR and the VR, they have been a lot on education. So a lot of studies have been driven by education. I think maybe this comes as a natural setting, since a lot of studies are born through academia. So education is the first thing that may drive our ideas. And also it's quite flexible to try things within a class and to develop such projects. User behavior, collaboration, tourism, entrepreneurship, and marketing. So these were some of the popular topics that we identified in our Information Systems Frontiers article last year. So our approach in this paper allowed us to reflect on existing research and to be able to illustrate the contribution from different perspectives. So we try to categorize the past research based on from the user perspective or from the intermediary and platform perspective, and the firm and industry perspectives. So 3 different perspectives based on different research questions, different propositions, and different issues that need to be addressed. So we clustered past research in 4 different categories based on the relevance, and this includes the design and features, strategy and tactics, management and organization, and measurement and value. And based on these 3 perspectives and the 4 categories, we try to give, well, our own perspective on what needs to be done or what can be done in order to take the metaverses into the next level and to make them happen, since I don't think we are there yet, but we are getting there. So the use of metaverses brings in new ways of B2C interaction, right? That enable the simulation of the physical world in the virtual world. I think this would be one of the easiest things that comes to our mind when we are thinking of the metaverse. It will change the way we interact online. So how do users interact with metaverse features? How do metaverse features serve the objective of the users? How do we transfer the sensed information from the real world to virtual world object? And this can be either in a B2C context, but it could be also in the B2C even in the class, if we see the end user as a potential consumer of content. Then we require skill enhancement for employees, for customers. So we need to examine how users need to adjust their routines to facilitate the use of metaverses. What kind of skills do users need to develop to benefit from the use of metaverses? And the skills and talent that is required to create and develop the metaverses is very important for us. it came up by looking at the past studies, but also it's very important for us as researchers, and that is what we are investing on with our latest project on Metaverses, where we will be training 17 PhD students. So different types of skills for different types of problems. Then another aspect that was very important is how the participation in Metaverses impacts emotional states of employees and customers. So that leads us to, in different contexts, in several research questions, such as which factors can shape positive user experiences, and or what is the emotional and behavioral impact of Metaverses on users, or what strategies could elevate user experience in virtual environments, and many different examples of how one could go ahead to answer these questions. Next, the digital identities was also very important. So the use of Metaverses imposes the creation and management of both business and customer digital identities in the virtual world. So how should platform providers manage identities in the Metaverse, or introduce maybe alternative approaches? And here, blockchain, for example, would be directly relevant, that can help serve authentications without needing state-issued identity documentations, for instance. Next, the need for regulation. The need for regulation and for governance, that is also very important. So in order for the businesses to participate in the Metaverse, as well as for the customers to participate in the Metaverse. So what are the new market opportunities for security platforms and the intermediaries? What is the impact of ownership ambiguity for platform providers? Or how can regulators minimize the negative impacts of Metaverse use? These are also very relevant questions that pop up in the literature, and we are still trying to figure out the answers. The technical requirements, they remain definitely relevant, even though the technology is advancing very fast. On the one hand, we say that the technology is mature enough to take us to the next level, closer to the existence of the Metaverse, with the head-mounted displays from the top companies, from the big tech companies, but also the answering questions such as which technologies should they consider when participating in Metaverses in order to best reach their target audiences and serve their own business goals. And maybe these technologies now are created by the big tech companies. So how do we take this technology, make it available for other smaller companies? And how do we make that available? And what kind of requirements this would need? Then the participation in the Metaverses also requires changes in the routines and processes of organizations, so how they're doing things, right? How should firms adjust their business routines and processes to accommodate the use of Metaverses? And again, in different contexts, it could be at the university, could be how we deal with our students, could be with the tourist management approach in museums. We have existing examples from these contexts in virtual worlds and augmented reality and virtual reality. And of course, the use of Metaverses brings in a new range of business opportunities. I think if we can be creative enough, the business opportunities could be almost endless. So that raises questions on how are existing business models altered due to the Metaverse use, right? How should firms transform their business strategies to use Metaverses? How can firms measure the business value of using Metaverses? So how can we define, do we need to redefine the business value when we are entering a space where things are happening simultaneously in the Metaverse, in the physical space, and probably we may reach a point where they also interact. So here we have opportunities for developing new tools and processes, for example, to support employee-driven digital innovations, or to improve customer experiences, enhance selling channels, and so on. So many different things that many different questions that need to be answered, many propositions that we set in based on the past literature that need to be advanced for different types of users at different levels, and the focusing at well, at different aspects. So it's a multi-dimensional challenges, right? I think we would agree on that. I think we may agree on some of these challenges. I'm sure there are others as well. And now so the next question is, how can we get to answer these questions, or at least some of them? And our plan is to answer them through the Agora project. So the Agora project is a Marie Curie doctoral network, industrial doctorate European project. We're together with the industry. So we are 4 universities and 4 industry partners from Cyprus. So the coordinator is in Cyprus. Ariana,
yes. If I can interrupt you, I'm here. So
there you go. Okay. Yes. Sorry. Yes, I didn't see you, Ariana.
Oh, sorry, I was saying.
Thanks for interrupting me. Yes.
Yeah. Sorry.
I was just focused on that, and I wasn't paying attention on the. Great. Welcome. Please yes, take over.
Sorry for slightly late joining. We had some internet issues here at my office, but I managed to join. And many thanks to the Symbiosis group for inviting us to this session. I'm Ariana, I'm an assistant professor in information systems at the University of Nicosia. And as Hughes just mentioned, I'm the principal investigator and coordinator of a metaverse-related project called Agora. Elias, if you could move to the next slide. Yeah, so building on what Elias has just presented, which is basically our joint work on metaverses, business and social value, we came along through this idea of responding to these challenges by coming up with a conceptual framework of the different stakeholders that are being affected by metaverse and that are becoming part of what they call the metaverse ecosystem. And these are users, these are businesses, these are intermediaries, and at the same time, we do have the technological infrastructure which is required to be in place and ensure that it's smoothly available for both users, businesses, and the society in general. So we built this framework where we have the user-related challenges, such as, for example, new ways of working or user experience challenges that need to be addressed, or equality, diversity, and inclusion. And all of these are grouped into what we call societal considerations in our framework. And in addition to that, we have businesses coming along new challenges, transforming their business models to adjust to the needs of the metaverse. We've seen product innovation, new ways for product innovation coming along, changes, radical changes, I would say, in marketing and advertising, etc. And then we have technology, which is essential and needs to be there and function well in order for users and businesses to make the most out of the metaverse. So in terms of technology, we have several different technological considerations, from governance to data management in the metaverse, to cybersecurity, privacy, NFTs, user experiences. Again, these are quite important considerations that we need to address to ensure that we can make the most out of our metaverse experiences. And this is what actually generated the idea of, sorry, let me move back to this slide. Okay. The Agora doctoral network, which has been, it is now a project, it used to be a proposal, on the wider training of young researchers on shaping metaverse for business and social value. And this is why actually we have been inspired to come up with this idea of Agora, where metaverse are perceived as the Greek perception of Agora, where people have the opportunity to get along, interact, exchange information, make transactions, etc. And it's been This is a Marie Curie doctoral network, which will be recruiting 17 PhD positions. The PhD students will have the opportunity to be part of the project with fully funded scholarships for 36 months. It's a project that just started here now in September, and we're going through the first phase where we are recruiting the researchers, and to have received 4 million funding, more or less, to fund the researchers to be conducting research on metaverse and business social value. So if you're interested to become part of this project as a PhD student, we'll be very soon announcing all of the PhD positions that will be available, and we are here to invite you to apply to become part of this project. Let me mention that Marie Curie projects are quite quite important, and are very hard to get, I would say. We have been extremely highly evaluated. Actually, we received 96% in order to manage to have this proposal go through and come up with a successful project with 5 out of 5 in excellence. So it's been a hard way to get to where we are now, and they're very, very excited to begin and start working on this project and actually host these 17 PhD students in the near future. So what is Agora about? Beyond these very wonderful PhD positions, our vision is to train the next generation of metaverse researchers. So we're interested to help and guide our researchers to become creative and autonomous in terms of the research, and be able to conduct research in the wider spectrum of metaverse, from technology to business to social challenges, as I'll be talking about in a while. And here we're not only focusing on helping our students dive into academic careers, but also through the structure of the project, enabling them to also pursue careers in industry and policy making. And beyond that, we want to expand scientific knowledge in the area of metaverse across the different levels, the user, the technology, the business level, and boost a synergy between academia and industry in this area. So in this project, we have a lot of secondments where researchers will have the opportunity to spend time in industry, collect data, receive hands-on training, and also assess the potential of the research to be exploited and commercialized towards the end of their projects. Sorry, but I'm having some trouble to navigate. So why have we formulated this project beyond the promising and widely unexplored ground of metaverse challenges and business and social value? We consider that this has a value for the EU area in particular. So in the European Union and in the wider European area, regional area, I would say, we're interested to stay competitive in the global digital economy arena, which is changing because of metaverse, and it's becoming even more complex and more challenging, and at the same time providing a lot of opportunities for businesses to advance from a technological, from a societal perspective, and transform. And in Europe, we're very, very interested to ensure that technology advances are going to be aligned with the European values and rules. And actually, this is one of the key baselines of this project, to ensure that all of the projects that are going to be developed across the project are going to be aligned with the European values. And therefore, the project here aims at helping Europe in particular maximize its metaverse business and social value by addressing several different challenges that I'm going to talk about in a while. So yes, we do have a mission to train researchers, but our vision is to lead by example, help the European area lead by example by developing this critical research, this talent base that is necessary for doing that. And also, we're interested to develop a mutual language of through which we could talk about metaverse and metaverse's business and societal value in particular. And we want to offer also, as I said earlier, transdisciplinary training, joint mentorship, soft skills, and networking across the EU, which will help these researchers collaborate together in the near future and build Europe's metaverses in a way that it ensures alignment with the European values, but at the same time, it boosts the potential of the region to innovate and move forward and lead in this area. So the aims of the project is to have this holistic framework where we're addressing the technology, the business, the societal value of metaverses, taking into account also the interplay across the different layers, across the different pillars. This approach, in our perspective, will maximize value creation. And again, we will help the region come along the negative impacts of the metaverse and ensure that it can make the most out of it as a region altogether. And speaking about the different projects and the different pillars that they're going to address, this project, as I said earlier, aims to host 17 different doctoral students to be conducting research in the area of metaverse. And here we have in front of me the different topics for which we are going to announce positions in the near future, from decentralized autonomous organizations, NFT and asset tokenization, to gamification in the metaverse, marketing, virtual office, customer experience and distribution channels, metaverse-driven sustainability, governance, digital marketing ethics, product innovation, data management, adoption of metaverses, especially by SMEs and the challenges associated with it, the digital divide and how it's affected by the metaverse, by their adoption, responsible business models in the metaverse, human agents, new forms of cyber attacks, and equality, diversity, and inclusion. This is just to give you a flavor of what the forthcoming topics that our researchers are going to be working on is more or less about. And of course, this is not an initiative only by the University of Nicosia, but it's a joint effort by a lot of partners, including the University of Padua and Elias, Durham University in the UK, Odensia Business School in France, the Athens University of Economics and Business Innovation Incubator, and also companies, actually a large IT consulting company called Maggioli in Italy, and a smaller ICT consulting firm here in Cyprus called Innovat. Alongside the employing partners, our consortium also includes associated partners which are there to further support the work of the project with regards to providing the researchers the opportunity to be seconded at these organizations and get further hands-on experience, access to data, etc. These are Future Intelligence, a company based in the UK, Aegis IT Research, which is in the area of security and it's based in Germany, and Unparallel, Portuguese SME, which is focusing on blockchain research, Metis Balting, which is an ICT consultant in Lithuania, and College Link, which is a startup in Greece aiming to help students working, especially on the teleworking and remote working projects. And what's happening? As I said earlier, this is a 4-year project. In this year, we have just begun working towards the recruitment of 17 doctoral candidates. And actually, we're now at the stage where we're formulating the job positions and how the requirements and all the details. And they're going to be announced on the project's website, on different channels and platforms, including Euraccess, university platforms, etc. In the next year, we aim, after having the 17 PhD students being recruited, to train them. And also during that time, we're expecting them to complete their literature review phase. In year 3, there will be more training, secondments, and data collection phase towards the different partners. And the last year is more about data analysis and write-up. So if you want to learn more about the Agora project, you can visit our website. Also, this is the info email that we have for the whole project. And of course, you can also take this opportunity, given that me and Elias are in this session, to ask any questions that you might have also about the project and also about our paper that Elias just presented. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for such a wonderful session and also sharing opportunity for PhD for many of our audiences and very warm welcome. Though I welcomed you on chat, but couldn't speak. So insightful talk. Paper was very interesting, and I would say that metaverse will bring many challenges probably, and a lot of them they were discussed in the paper. But something that caught my attention was like I would like to, Elias, I would like to request you to elaborate more on that, like changes in routine and processes, right, that you mentioned during your paper. Could you throw some more light on that? How changes in routines and processes, how they're gonna impact organization as far as metaverse is concerned?
Yes.
I'll find the slide.
Yeah. It was the second, third.
No, this one. Was it this one?
No, yes, this
No.
one here. I think this at a high level is, if we try to oversimplify the description, is how businesses are doing things, right? At a very simplified manner. So I think collaborating a bit with SMEs, not small companies are very agile and they're very easy to change. And I think the larger the companies grow, the harder they are to change the processes that they do things. And going into, so they have their own routines that maybe they are working for X, Y, Z years. And I think when I would talk to some, they would follow processes for like decades, and that would make it even harder to change the technology, because they would they had processes that had been there established for a long time, and then that made it very difficult to bring in new technology. So then the question was, okay, then how do we implement a new technology? Is it like top down? Is it bottom up approach? How should we implement new technology within an organization that is not just a small company, but it's a large company? And I say large SMEs, and we use the terms, but in different countries, SMEs also describes different numbers. So an SME in Norway, an SME in the US, an SME in India would be different companies. So Norway has only 5 million people. SMEs look very different compared to India or the US. But still, my point is that we need to rethink how the existing processes. We need new processes if we're going to be able to adapt to new technology, and that is given with different types of technologies that the metaverse requires. Either that is augmented reality, either it is virtual reality. In my mind, is a bit of everything depending on the use case scenario. So the company needs to rethink how it's doing things. Either this is internal within, because you have also either how you collaborate with your employees or how they work with each other. So to improve, one of the projects that we want to work is how you improve work through the metaverse, right? That is one part. Or how do you improve your customer experience? So outside of the company.
Right. Thank you so much for giving insights on the same. Dr. Anna, I would like to ask one question to you as well. Social media platforms, they are there for different kind of target audiences, though there is some common target audience on different social media platforms as well. So when we talk about metaverses, right, multiple metaverses, do you think they'll also develop in the same fashion, like a professional network or researcher network or a gaming we are already seeing as mentioned in the talk as well? So different metaverses or different TGs, or there will be a common place for people where you will find presence or multiple target audiences on a single platform. So what is your take on that?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Well, if we consider that brands have already started to invest in different platforms, in different metaverses, I would say, we're starting to see this widespread of different platforms being used. However, taking into account that, for example, social media platforms are what we have been discussing as partly a place where people meet and collaborate and exchange information. And this is how we foresee metaverses transforming this experience into an entirely new level. I would argue that in the future it's likely to see the different platforms converging, perhaps not into one, but in a small number of platforms being used for specific purposes and having different distinct uses from one another. And this is a convergence that possibly is also going to occur due to the further development of the technology and how tech giants are going to further pursue in developing the metaverses in general, and also encouraging their existing users to use their own metaverses in the near future.
Thank you so much for sharing your views on the same. So I'd like to invite, with your permission, Dr. Annabelle. We have a single question that she can take, or she can give her viewpoints, or maybe on discussion. Please.
Yes, of course. Thank you very much. And many thanks for your interesting presentation and fascinating project involving so many people and so many perspectives. I think while I wait for people to put more questions in the chat, I have some questions for you regarding the, I really like your conceptual framework that is including in the big picture, the society and the wider context in which we are, we have to start examining all these challenges for the creation of the metaverse. Interesting view about social media evolving into these metaverse spaces. So that is could be a possibility. And thinking on that, if we consider now all the huge benefits of social media, but also the dark side of social media that is really not under control, how can we prevent this from happening? Do you have any methodology or any approach in your research in which researchers and everyone is actually reflecting on all these future harms that the metaverse can cause to society?
Yeah, thank you very much for this question. Actually, this is very relevant to the approach and the conceptual framework of Agora project. So the idea is, at least for the EU region, in order to maximize the value of the metaverse, we definitely need to take into account the increasing number of challenges and disadvantages that come along with the wider adoption of metaverses. And actually, this is something that is deeply embedded into the projects the PhD projects that I have proposed. So there are specific projects that are going to focus on the negative consequences of metaverse, from ethics to poverty and inclusion to cybersecurity and new challenges when it comes to threats and privacy. And the changes in advertising and marketing and the negative aspects of that, given that users are now going to experience more of a three-dimensional interactions and engagement rather than just brand awareness and communication of messages, which is something that we're experiencing now. So yes, we're considering this a very important part that needs to be addressed by our project. And in the details of every small project, even those that are not focusing on the negative aspects, but rather on the focus on the positive ones, we do have a place where students are going to be invited to do a risk analysis of their project and what they're suggesting and the potential negative impacts of the research. And this is how our two-way approach where we're addressing the challenges of metaverse and how it's going to reshape also in a negative way our society, our economy, our business lives, and how we could further address that to maximize the positive aspects.
Yes, absolutely. That is critical. And another aspect that I would like you to elaborate a little bit more is about this important work you are doing in terms of collaborating with so many partners in order to have a comprehensive overview of all these projects that you are developing. One of the biggest challenge for academia is actually to engage industry in a meaningful way. So I would love to hear some advices and about the things that you did in order to get that engagement, and some recommendations for all the participants here in order to continue and do this type of engagement.
Yes, so the Agora is a doctoral industrial network partnership. This means that a very important part of the core of the project is this academia industry, I would say academia, non-academia collaboration, because this is a term used by the European Commission. So for every project, that doctoral project on which we're going to have recruit a researcher, we aim for them as part of the project to spend at least 40% of their time, actually it's 50% of their time in industry. Industry, by the way, means non-academic partners. So it could be also an incubator that we have as part of our consortium, or a research center, etc. Our aim is to go there, for them to go there and have a specific task in mind before getting there. And this is actually something that we're already describing from the proposal stage. So students being seconded to non-academic partner for 50% of their time will have specific tasks to be conducting during their time there. And this is a task that creates a kind of win-win situation for both the non-academic partner hosting the student and also the student. So in collaboration with non-academic partners, we spend the time to identify how both the organization and the student could benefit from the secondment by outlining a project where, for example, the organization could share some data on a challenge that they would like to address, and the student could further, as part of their PhD, use that data, but also provide insights back to industry in a way that is useful also for them. So the way that we have managed to engage so many non-academic partners in this project is actually by identifying aspects, projects, topics on which there could be mutual value both for the student and also for the non-academic partner to be hosting the student for an amount of time. Of course, I was going to say that it's quite challenging given that we have organizations from academia and non-academia industry with different approaches towards research. But the way we have formulated the project is also that the non-academic partners do have a mentorship role in the students' project, and their role is more towards helping them examine to what extent their results are applicable in industry, how they could further exploit them, how they could further commercialize them if possible in the future.
Yeah, I think that is very interesting, especially because many brands, as you were saying, are already testing and piloting this type of metaverse environments, and it will be fantastic if the input from universities can come earlier enough before these big companies or small companies start developing something that gets a little bit, yes, challenging for society. And sorry, Professor Elias, you were going to say something as well.
Yeah, thanks. I wanted to add a bit on what Ariana said on this win-win scenario, which it may sound obvious, right? It needs to be a win-win relationship between academia and industry. So we recently were writing about this, and we call this a sympraxis. So sympraxis is when the academics with the non-academics, they get together for a common goal or a common challenge, maybe with different benefits on either side, because it's also difficult to be proactive in many cases, right? So Annabelle, what you just said, that these companies, they want feedback from us because they want to be proactive. They don't want to react after it has happened. They want to be proactive in when they design their products, when they design their services, whatever. They want to prototype, they want to fail, but with a low risk, so they can try again better. And projects like this, where we are discussing how we can train the next generation of researchers that include 50-50 industry, academics and non-academics, in this case industry, they allow us to be a bit more proactive within the safe part that the research and academia gives you. You can trial and error before you go to market. But once you go to market, it's very hard to, or at least it's very expensive. It's not hard to fail; it's expensive to fail.
Yeah, I imagine.
And this Symbiosis is what can take us there. You also asked what are tips. I think like if the institutes, you try to institutionalize the relationship between academia and industry. So some universities have that, and they are much better than other universities. I think informally, it is also a very personal thing, because for this to work, it depends on the right people being in the right place, and being able to spend time with your industry partners. So because they are business, so they are looking for that, that they will feel safe and comfortable that they can spend their time with you. We are as academics, we may be very smart, we may write great papers, but the business people, they are looking for something else. They want the knowledge, right? Don't get me wrong. They want the knowledge. They really appreciate the knowledge, but their time is split differently. So I think it's very personal relations that build over time, and that makes a change.
No, absolutely, and I agree. This is a specific skill that you need to have in order to balance the drivers for each of the partners, because there are different drivers for academics and industry. So yes, absolutely. So thank you very much for sharing your experience on that. And I have another question.
Just to add an optimistic note on this. From what I've seen through my over 10 years of experience in this European projects area, is that industry is becoming much more open towards hosting industrial doctorates nowadays and co-participating in research. And I think they're also opening up towards developing this kind of Symbiosis that Ilias just described. So this is something quite positive, and I've noticed that it's been happening in the recent years.
Yes, absolutely. And if you can share, hopefully you can share with us. I know some of the projects may be very confidential, but I would love to hear, if you can, some examples of exciting metaverse projects that you are facing in terms of, something that is really moving very fast and interesting that is happening in your research.
Yeah, that would be a pleasure. Actually, we do have one human-centered AI/Metaverse project that is starting also in January, and it's a project that tries to test in certain industries how in the Metaverse we could use human-centered AI to drive, train employees, such as pilots, for example, for the first steps of their pilot testing, of their pilot training, in factories, how we could again train employees to use machinery in the Metaverse and also combine that with AI knowledge. So I'm happy to also share some links concerning upcoming projects, which are quite exciting in this area.
Okay, so that is in the manufacturing area, how the Metaverse can help. And that's interesting, because sometimes when we are talking about the Metaverse, we start thinking about all these projects that look very exciting, but they don't have any social impact that you can clearly link to the progress, and some of them are actually very detrimental to the collaboration or creativity or human interaction. So that's what I wanted to see some examples. So that's very good. Any other examples you can share?
Well, in the area of Metaverse, this is the project that we're also starting to work on. But definitely there has been across the year different actions released by the European Commission, which invited projects to perform and demonstrate that they can deliver something that is at a different TRL level, so closer to actually the TRL level starts from 0 to 9, and actually 0 is more of a research excellence project for which we don't have much knowledge, and it's more into academic research, whereas TRL that are closer to 6 and 7, etc., are producing tangible outcomes, and we're actually assessing their impact to society, to their potential commercialization. So we're testing, for example, through pilots, to what extent they could develop business models and sell these outcomes from projects, and what could be the societal impacts. So there are several different projects out there that are relevant to this applicability of research results beyond academia, let's say. So some examples I can give is a project that actually has already been completed, called In FinTech, where we have been working on how we could create a data/blockchain marketplace for financial technologies, where financial organizations could access data, use AI algorithms, and further exchange these through a blockchain system, and also further expand their know your customer abilities, for example, their abilities to assess potential SMEs for any for their credibility, etc. So this was a platform that we developed. Actually, that was a very big flagship project with over 20 partners, where we collaborated with financial technology providers, with banks, in order to generate this kind of system, and also assess its potential impact in different markets through pilot sites. And we're able to, actually there's an FinTech marketplace where people can further access the outcomes of the project and request to use it for certain cases. Actually, I can also share a link with the outcomes of this project in the chat for everyone who might be interested.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, and that's a very good example, because it's clearly show us that the value of the metaverse will be about the integration of many emerging technologies as they are evolving, using different components and creating that space in which you feel safe and secure to interact and do all these activities that business are doing at different levels. So yeah, thank you very much. And actually there is one question that is related where they can learn more about this. I imagine is about this project, and in your last slide, exactly, you provide that information already. So Ali Rasa, that is the answer to your question. And if there is no more questions, I have one final question for each of you. If you have to tell me what is the one thing that most excites you about the metaverse, what would that be?
Elias, would you like to go ahead, or I?
Yeah, sure. For me, is the well, we don't know exactly yet how it will look like, so that's exciting. Also, it's exciting that I hope I will be alive to experience what's the next level of interaction in the digital world. For me, that's exciting. I love technology. I love both the digital and the physical world, and I think the metaverse will give us a version where both of them, you can experience both of them. And the exciting part for me is that I will get to experience that. I will be around the next decades to experience that. Right? Sometimes I think how 100 years, the past 100 years, how technology has evolved, which makes me optimistic that I'll get to see that. And for me, that's exciting.
Thank you very much. What about you, Ariana?
From my side, of course, I really look forward, and I hope I'm alive to experience what Elias just described. But I'm really looking forward to see the implementations of these technologies, especially in the area of healthcare, where combined with also other technologies coming along, such as AI, I'm hoping that we'll be seeing some really remarkable achievements, which could help people who really need this kind of care, but they might be in remote and distant areas, get the best care possible through the use of Metaverse, VR technologies, AI combined together for the best of everyone on this planet.
Thank you very much. And well, looking forward to keep discussing about the metaverse. And with that, I hand it over to Dr. Kumar, please.
Thank you so much for giving interesting perspective on all the questions that were asked by Dr. Anabel, and it was quite interesting discussion. We can expect many things out of Metaverse and how a lot of industries will gonna impact. That is like it's amalgamation of many technologies. So how it will come up, we are yet to visualize, but yes, I'm too excited to visualize the same. But thank you for providing your perspective. So let's now time to close the event. So we'd like to extend once again sincere gratitude to Dr. Ariana Polivu and Professor Elias Opapas for gracing the event with the valuable insight during this enlightening session, and also extending opportunity to scholars to join on this project and feel the exciting journey of Metaverses, how the investment is happening. I also want to express my heartfelt thanks to Professor Yogesh Kumar Dwivedi, Dr. Laurie Hughes, and Professor Ramakrishnan Raman for conceiving the idea of this seminar series and providing us with this exceptional platform to delve into the contemporary theme of emerging perspectives on the metaverse. A special thanks to all esteemed guests who joined us from various parts of the world, contributing to interesting discussions today. Lastly, I would like to express my appreciations to Mr. Rajesh and his team for IT support. So link for next seminar is already posted on the chat. Those who are interested can register. So as we conclude our current gathering, I'm delighted to inform you that the last seminar of series 3 is scheduled on November 8th, 2023. We honor to have Professor Neeraj Pandey from Indian Institute of Management, Mumbai, who will share his thoughts on the topic monetizing metaverse opportunities and way forward. So kindly make a note of this date on your calendars. Thank you for your participation today, and we eagerly anticipate your presence in the next seminar too. Wish you all a wonderful time ahead. Thank you, Dr. Annabelle, once again for taking all the questions. Thank you very much, everyone.